I just heard footsteps. So all these buildings being moved from Old West style towns, it'd be safe to say that they've probably seen hangings.
In fact, yes. We know the Berlando house, which is our oldest standing haunt back there. He had 3 wives, and at least one of them passed on in that. So we know that that home had probably some stillbirths, probably some children died. Children did not often live, in the Victorian era. They didn't live to be 20 a lot of times.
I just heard footsteps. It'd be safe to say that they've probably seen hangings.
In fact, yes.
Something was in the room with us.
The laborers worked here, lived here, died here. And if we can get across to the cemetery, they're buried here.
Dude, something just touched me. Did you see that light down at the end? Are you playing games with us? Does anyone need a doctor? I hated that one so much.
Many fear the unknown. Some will travel far and wide in search of an unknown ghost. Follow the American Paranormal Research Association into some of the most highly active historical locations across the United States. Investigate untold stories that will be brought to life on Haunted Discoveries. In 1855, gold was discovered in the Kern Valley. Miners flocked here from throughout the world to get in on what was believed to be California's second great gold rush. Towns sprung up in the area, but many were abandoned within a few years when the gold ran out. In the 1970s, the Dave Mills family saved historical structures from the deteriorating mining camps and moved them to this site. Around 1973, the Mills closed the ghost town. The J. Paul Corlew family purchased the property in 1988 and began the long task of restoration and preservation work that would dominate their lives for decades. The Corlews reopened Silver City in 1992. On site are over 20 buildings from mining camps with names like Keysville, Whiskey Flat, Clairville, and Miracle. Preserved here in a state of arrested decay, it is now operated as a nationally known museum and film location.
We purchased the property about 23 years ago, my late wife and I raised my son here. He's now, he lives in Indiana now, but he grew up here. And when I first bought the property, we heard that it was haunted. And I really didn't believe it. I was a total skeptic.
Right.
It wasn't that I didn't believe in such things, but I didn't believe this place was haunted, mainly because the buildings were moved here. But once I started doing some investigation on the property itself, we have the original stagecoach route. It was right out front. We have the Wild West all around us, basically, here. Over the years, I became less skeptical as I heard footsteps behind me, had more and more people talking about getting pinched or tapped on the shoulder. Nothing ever violent. But one of the most amazing things that occurred was about 15 years ago or so. Well, it was in 1994, 1995, right around there. We had a Halloween event here, and my late wife was in the Berlando house, the Berlando house, one of the most famous haunts here. And I heard screaming. I was up down here on this end of the property giving a lantern light tour. And I heard hollering inside the building, and I said, "Excuse me, I'll be right back." And I set the lantern down, and people were just going, "Where's he going?" And I went running down there, and as I did, people were just streaming out of the building saying they had seen, asking how I did those special effects and things of that nature. Others just ran right out the gate, and I knew something amazing had occurred in there. I just could feel it. You could feel the electricity, And I asked my wife, and she was just standing there, she was speechless. She goes, "You wouldn't believe what happened." And I said, "What?" And these people were going, "How'd you make the things float? How'd you get..." Bottles were floating, shot glasses were getting knocked back, rocking chair rocked by itself, a mannequin raised its arm in the air. Others said they saw actual spirits walking through the building and right out the side of the walls.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. This was a mass sighting of over 20 people.
So all these buildings being moved from Old West style towns, you'd be safe to say that there probably has been death in these buildings.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure of that.
They've probably seen hangings.
In fact, yes.
Gunfights.
Gunfights. We know the Berlando house, which is our oldest standing haunt back there, in the site of the incident that I told you about with my late wife. We know that one, that Francisco Palate raised at least 13 children, some say 16 children in there. And he had 3 wives, and at least one of them passed on. So we know that home had probably some stillbirths, probably some children died. Children did not often live, in the Victorian era. They didn't live to be 20 a lot of times.
Only having 3 members of APRA available for this investigation, we had to concentrate on the structures that had the most reports of paranormal activity.
Thus far, I'm quite impressed with it. It's really awesome to be in an old-fashioned ghost town. I mean, Old West feel everywhere. I mean, everything is old. And, I mean, as far as the feelings in the building so far, the real building that I felt something in thus far is down at the very far end of the ghost town, and it's the church. And it's got a rope across the entrance, but you poke your head in there and instantly you feel a lightheaded feeling. And it'll be interesting to really get in there and investigate it later.
From now on, portions of our investigations will be conducted alone in an attempt to collect further data.
Alright, man. Be safe. I will. Alright. See you guys in a bit. So, is there anyone in here with me right now that would like to talk? As I said before, my name is Michael. I'm starting my recorder in 3, 2, 1. Okay, could you take the time to speak with me? Why are you here right now? Can you tell me your name? Okay, I'm gonna go sit over here and I'm gonna try and talk with you, okay? Night shots or the hunting camera's taking the picture. I'm gonna sit over here so I'm not really in the way. Setting that camera off every 3 seconds. I'm all alone in here, guys, so please don't feel intimidated by me in any way. I'm here to talk to you. Okay? That's what I'm here for. Right now I'm in the church of Silver City Ghost Town. And I'm sitting down here. You got everything going. We got a couple of recorders going, and got a couple of motion sensors going on over here as well. We have another camera getting a wide shot of the room, and right now I'm just basically sitting because I'm trying not to get in the way of the other devices and set them off on accident. So we can kind of control the environment, and so if anything goes off, it's because it's capturing something that's not me. So, if there's anybody here with me, please don't be afraid. You can come near me if you want. I'd actually like it if you would come and touch me on the shoulder. Give me a sign of your presence. Let me know that you're here. Your presence. Let me know that you're here.
The first EVP of the night was a direct response to Michael.
Let me know that you're here. The game camera just took a series of pictures. I don't think it had anything to do with me. I went like this, but my hand never went directly in front of the sensor. But I saw it was going off, so it's possible. Is somebody there? Please come forward and talk with me, okay? Is somebody there? Somebody there? Really, the only experience that I've had thus far here in the church is just the a little feeling every now and again that over in these corners over here, to either side of the Okay. Was that you that just made that noise?
Alright. We'll see you in a little bit. Be safe, right? I will. Be safe.
I don't do steps.
During Jonathan's time in the church, no data was collected. For the next hour, the entire ghost town seemed to be quiet.
Everything's a little different here now. Last season we kind of just did the standard investigations, we all stood with each other, stayed with each other, but now we're in some bigger places, more buildings, and we're doing things alone. Just kind of hanging out right now, seeing what's going on. I just heard footsteps. I just heard footsteps. I hope to God we got that on our camera.
At this time, the most significant series of events took place in the church. Motion detector 1 was set off at the same time camera 2 died. At this moment, I was not aware that the IR illuminator on camera 2 died at the same time. What happened next made this series of events even more
This
significant.
camera's dead. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take some, no way. That was kind of weird. I don't know if it was just coincidence or not. Very possible, but just before that motion detector went off, this camera over here died, and then that illuminator on there died. I just switched out the illuminators.
Later, hearing the audio data that was collected at this time sent chills down my spine. This was a moment I would never forget. We headed over to the Berlando house to play the first card game in almost 100 years in the structure. We brought in owner Jay Corlew to help kick up the activity. Multiple devices were set up to try and collect data during this recreation.
I'm gonna go ahead and start recording on this device right here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna set up a couple motion detectors around the room as well.
Earl Brown lived here on the property in the early years and helped me the first 2 years restoring. We put like 20,000 man hours to get it open to the public in 1990. And he used to go do the rounds with his dog, and he heard music playing.
Oh, really?
So he came up, and the dog was a trained police type dog.
Right.
And he goes, come on, Max, and he looked down, and Max was gone. She was under one of the buildings across the
Oh, really?
And he went up, as he got closer, he could see a light coming out through the window. And
Right.
There was no electricity in here. So he feared that somebody had broken in and had the candles and stuff lit, you know. And as he got closer, he heard clinking glasses, laughter, violin music, just a whole party going on, and he thought a bunch of raptors had broken in or something, you know.
2 from the top. Two from the top.
We left the equipment alone to record in the Berlando house for approximately an hour and a half. This is what was collected. During our time in Silver City Ghost Town, unexplainable data was collected. What I experienced in the old church is something that I will never forget. This old ghost town nestled in the mountains of Bodfish still might be inhabited by the gold miners from California's past.